Debbie is with us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
My husband and I have two grown children. Our daughter is married and rents a home independently. Our son is also grown, but he lives with us, but he does pay rent. They both would love to be able to find homes of their own. They've been unable to do that because of the market and just their personal finances. They would love to live close to us, as we would love for them to live close to us as well. So in November, some land came available, some acreage came available very close to us, and my husband and I bought it. Our home was paid for, but we used an old HELOC that we had there to purchase the land because we didn't have enough cash to buy it outright. So since then, the rates on the HELOC have more than doubled, which means our payment has more than doubled. The kids we all still feel the same. We'd all still love for everybody to be able to build or do something out there on that land, but financially, they're just not ready. So my question is, do we refinance this because the land is paid for, but now we're back in the mortgage situation? So do we refinance this? Do we roll it into a fixed-rate mortgage and just work at paying it off, or do we sell it?
Wow. What is the land worth?
Probably about $200,000.
How big's your HELOC?
250.
Why did you borrow $50 more than the land was worth to buy the land when the house was paid for?
That was like a business expense, and the land may be worth more than that.
I'm sorry, a business expense? What do you mean?
We have a handyman service, and the truck that we used died, and so we did use it for that.
Okay. So you bought a $50,000 truck that you couldn't afford. You bought a $50,000 truck that you couldn't afford, and you bought a $200,000 piece of ground you couldn't afford.
Could we not afford it since our home was paid for?
You couldn't afford. You didn't have the money to pay for it. By definition, that means you couldn't afford it if you didn't have the money to pay for it. Your business is not making enough money to justify a $50,000 truck. You know how I know that? Because you didn't have $50,000.
Yes, we did.
Why did you borrow money then?
Taxes.
Taxes? What's taxes mean?
Well, if we have no tax deductions, then we're paying more and more and more and more in taxes.
Do you not know how a tax deduction works? If you write off $10,000, it saves you $2,500. You have to give the bank $10,000 to keep from sending the government $2,500. You don't go in debt to create a tax deduction. That's trading a dollar for a quarter. Okay. Yeah, you need to sell the land.
So we've talked to the kids about this land.
They don't get a vote. They're broke.
Okay. So we just need to say, sorry, we made a mistake. We're going to sell it.
Yeah, that's right. Because they can't afford to buy a house. This whole thing that you guys have concocted, it's not working. It's not real. Yeah. It's not real. You've gone into debt for this. You've got bad practices. And then it's all on this dream that the kids are going to one day build houses on this land. But you've said they're not ready to. No one is ready and financially able to do any of the things that you're speaking about.
You're not, and they're not. And so this is a wish. It's not a realistic prognosis. And if you were sitting on $3 or $4 million and you wanted to play this out, then I would just question whether you're being an enabler for kids that aren't handling money well. But beyond that, we don't even need to get to that because none of the three of you have the money to do this deal.
Uh-huh. And I'll tell you what the next step was, Dave. The next step was they would have financed those down payments for those kids if they could.
Yeah, that's where this was heading.
That's where it's headed.
It's heading worse, yeah.
Yeah, got to let it go.
I'm sorry. I would not have a mortgage on my home for a piece of land ever, but I for sure wouldn't in this situation because it's not going. This family compound dream is probably never going to happen, and if it does, it's 10 or 15 years from now. Mm-hmm. And it's just not a process. The kids are going to be much better off to build themselves a self-sustaining life without mommy and daddy doing it, and just live nearby.
That's right.
All of my kids live within, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes of me. But they don't live in my backyard. None of them would want to, probably. But
well, there's a certain amount of pressure that they're placing on the kids. When you say, "Hey, I bought this tract of land," then there's also this, okay, I guess
family
that's
compound.
what we got to do.
I've worked through several family compound issues over the years, and I don't want one because here's what happens: divorce.
Yeah.
And now the ex-daughter-in-law is your next-door neighbor because your son lost the divorce.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's terrible. Yeah, that's not good.
Mom, we got an offer to make $500,000 a year more in Seattle, so we are leaving Charlotte.
That's what I'm saying.
And guess what you sell that house to? Who? A stranger.
Yeah.
In the family compound.
And how much
some of those
guilt will
strangers
people
are
feel?
strange.
Yeah.
Strange strangers. And you get a strange stranger as your next door neighbor?
Right. And then now Thanksgiving really tastes different.
Now, I'm just telling you that these things don't end well. Some people pull it off, but I've just seen all the messes. That's if this worked and if you guys weren't broke, Debbie, but y'all are broke.
It doesn't work.
None of you have got the money to pull this off. You couldn't even buy a $50,000. Well, you could buy a $50,000 truck, but you didn't. So, by the way, take the $50,000 from your business that you had to buy the truck with and pay down the home equity loan so that when the land sells, it pays off the rest of it and put the land on the market.
I don't think Mama's going to do that.
I don't think she's going to do it either, but it's the right thing to do.
It is.
You shouldn't have called here if you didn't want the truth.